He's actually Daffy Duck, you know. But let's say Craig, he's been saved for a while, but let's say he was not saved and tonight he gave his life to Christ. Most people think that he basically remains, I say most people, what I mean is what's common understanding in a lot of churches about how salvation works is that that Craig remains basically the same, only Jesus puts some like Jesus juju in his heart that tries to rival Craig's nature, which has basically been unaltered. That Craig is in large part the same person, but will now, because of the Jesus kind of juju sprinkle, will try to be a good boy. And one of these days, by the way, he has a ticket to heaven now because he believes in Jesus. And he's going to try to be good and not like beer and loose women anymore and go to church even though he didn't want to. And a lot of people teach this doctrine, or they'll do it so that they'll say, well, Craig is substantially the same. They'll say something confusing that you're always hearing me bag on, like I'm a sinner, saved by grace. There's only one problem, that of course, if you're saved, you are saved from being a sinner. So this statement technically means nothing because it's self-contradictory. And if you're a sinner, then you're not saved. So anyways, it was from Ray. And then ultimately the writings of Watchman Nee, where I first, in fact, I was in the Sunday school room across the hall, and Pastor Ray handed me the book, The Normal Christian Life, and said, I want you, while you're reading this, to outline it and bring me the outline. And I said, okay. And slowly I began to read it, and it completely freaked me out. I don't mean freaked me out as in scared me. I mean, I became a lunatic Christian, like the kind of Christian that even all the other Christians are confused about. Then John Goldwater read it, and he became a lunatic Christian. Years later, we would both be in the pastorate trying to make heads or tails of our experience in the pastorate, and he would call me late one night and say, hey, I got a question for you. He's like almost whispering. I'm like, yes? He's like, what's up with us? What are you talking about? He goes, I meet a lot of Christians. He said, there's either something they don't have that we have, or that we don't have that they don't have, but I'm pretty sure that there's a difference between us and them. What is it? And I go, I don't know. He goes, do you ever think that before? I'm like, you mean aside from every single day of my whole life? He goes, what do I do about it? I'm like, I don't know. Try to make them like you. He's like, well, what's the difference between them and me? I'm like, you're not you anymore. They're still thinking they're them. He's like, so I'm not me? No. Are you you? No, I'm not me either. Who are we then? Different us's. And we should try to get them to be different us's? No, they already are different us's. They just don't know that they're different us's. Oh, you really think that's it? Yeah. Think it has something to do with Ray? Probably. All right, I'll let you go. All right, I'll talk to you later. And it was because of this. Because we didn't teach Jesus juju, and we didn't learn it that way. What we learned was that Craig, if he gets saved, he doesn't get a ticket to heaven, or Jesus juju in his heart. You've heard me say it so much now, it's like cliche. Craig got assassinated. The day that he got saved, what happened is that Jesus on the cross, somehow Craig got put on the cross in a union with Christ, and as dead as Jesus was, old Craig is that dead too. And when Jesus gets taken off the cross, in some weird way, we are, in Paul's words, in Christ. When he goes in the tomb, when Jesus goes in the tomb and the stone is rolled in front of it, who else goes in the tomb? Craig, or anybody else that's ultimately saved. And then 3 days later, when Jesus rises from the dead, the same salvific power that raised Jesus from the dead also, because we are in Christ, raised Craig from the dead, so that Craig is a whole new person. He's 100% born again, brand new, and new creation. And because we are still in Christ, we are even now, though we're on planet Dirtball in a church basement, seated with Christ in heavenly places. And because I'm in Christ, I have the opportunity now to walk directly into the throne room of God without any fear, hesitation, or reservation that he will somehow smack me down for what I did yesterday, because I am still in Christ. And wherever I go or whoever I come in contact with, I am in Christ and Christ is in me. And that's the great mystery of how God pulls all this off. This is the difference between genuine and real Christianity versus moral, cultural Christianity. It's a shady, garbage counterfeit. And the reason why our church, if there is such thing as vitality in our church, and I believe there's a rich vitality in it, the reason why it's here is not because of the curriculums that we choose, although I like our curriculum. And it's not even really because of the people that are here, although I'm really a big fan of the people. Like I said, it's not because of the entertaining worship or preaching or whatever else. It's not because of our worship week or because we're part of a convention, because we have the name Baptist in our name or the name Friendship. The bottom line is the reason why our church has vitality is because the people that are clinging to this place are clinging to this idea of union with Christ.